make it easy or to go through them? Okay. Here we go. All right. So on this one right here, shh, you're listening. So on this test, there's not going to be any calculator open, okay? So no calculator. Okay? It's going to be easy, okay? Because if we use the calculator, it's just too much. You're gonna be able to do them all without the calculator, okay? Because I don't want you just. Actually, I take that back. I think the calculator is open. Yay. It's not. It's open on half of it. Okay, so no calculator on half. Okay. All right. So you still would probably have to figure out your orientation. I'm just going to do them by hand, but all right. But I know that the first two problems are going to be on paper. Okay. So the first two problems are, and there aren't any here in the review, but by hand you have to be able to graph a parametric, which we can kind of do with this one. Okay. And then you also have to be able to graph a polar by hand. Okay? So we've done that a few times. Alright? If we've got time at the end, we can practice doing another polar if you want. Okay? The parametric we can probably take care of with what's right here. Okay? That's what it says. Alright? Okay. So we've got, what we do to graph a parametric is we draw ourselves a nice little cheat chart, right? Where we've got t, where we've got x, and where we've got y. Alright, this tells us that they're going between -2 and 2. Cody, put that away and start writing this down. Okay. Alright. Then I'm going to plug into this function right here, which looks like 2t. Is that right? Am I right about that? Does it say 2t?
I thought t was supposed to be time.
Huh?
I thought t was supposed to be time.
Yeah, well, in this picture apparently it's not. Okay. Alright. So x equals 2 times -2 is what? -4. Alright. 2 times -1. 2 times 0. 2 times 1. 2 and 2 times 2. 4. Alright, now we're going to plug into the y, which is -4t, right? So -2 times -4 is what? 8. -1 times -4 is 4. 0 times 4 is 0. -4 times 1 is -4, and -4 times 2 is -8. Okay, so then we have to plot those points.
Hey, speaking of being ass, what do you do in this hard?
Cody, it's for 6th period. Okay.
Hey, can we do it 5th period? Jordan and I want to go in 5th period. Like at the end. Me and Jordan, we want to come in 5th period.
Alright. Let's go. Let's graph this thing now. So we've got to go -4, positive 8. So -4, positive 8 looks like it, well, it would be like this, right? -4, positive 8. It would be something like that. Okay? Alright, -2, 4 would be there. 0, 0. 2, -4. I know. And 4, I'll make the picture better on the test. Alright. You guys, if we're not paying attention, then don't complain about it being hard. Okay? Because you're not trying. Alright. So the orientation should look like that. So looking at what we have there, I would probably think... Oh, it has to go through 0, 0, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be the first one, doesn't it? Yeah. What's wrong, Joaquin?
We came yesterday. Did we get credit?
No.
Why did I sign up for it?
So you do better on the test? Earn the credit I give you.
I should get some credit because it was my dad's birthday yesterday.
I know. Don't whine to me. All right. I gave you the leftover chocolate. Okay, we good with number 1? Okay, let's look at number 2. All right, so we've got to sketch this. We've got to go from 0 to 4 this time. So get yourself a T-chart going.
I missed lunch, so they told me to like leave for second lunch.
Okay. That's fine.
You guys have that? Oh,
How did you do?
I don't know.
Obviously, how did you do?
We're reviewing the study guide. So,
Okay.
Wait, Kim, you went to the military?
No, I just want to see like what do you specialize in?
Oh.
I just want to see.
Numbers.
Kiyomi, don't take Math 96 next year, okay?
Take it.
I'll probably take like specialism.
Nah,
Yeah.
you can fuck that. Take it.
What is she supposed to take next year?
Stats. Or she can go take something at
Or you can
MSJC.
take sense in the summer.
All right. Let's talk about this one here, okay?
Do you use the same numbers, same T numbers?
Yeah, no, look at what it says right here, 0 to 4, right?
Oh,
All right, T, X, 0. So we're going, oh, sorry, 0, Y. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it told us our T's right there at the end. So now I'm gonna plug into that new function. So let's see, 0 gets me -1, right? 0, 1, is it 2 and 3? All right, then we plug into y, t squared plus 2, so 2, 3, 6. Am I doing it right? Make sure I'm doing it right. 9, 10, 11. Am I on the right track? Okay, and then 18. All right, so if I started to draw that picture, it's saying that at -1, it is up 2. At 0, it is up 3. At 1, it's at 6. At 2, it's at 11. So it's going up pretty rapidly. And it's got the orientation has to go that direction. So is it C? The third one?
Yes.
Awesome.
How do you tell the orientation?
Because you start with this number and you start the plot, so you want to start your curve. However you draw the curve,
Okay, so
that's the
based on
orientation.
T
Yeah. So go in the order of your t values. All right, we good with number 2?
value. Oh, cool ring.
All right. Eliminate the parameters. So that means I need to solve one of them for t. Okay. Find an equation of y in terms of x. Give the restrictions on x. Okay. So we're going, oh, and I have to give the restrictions on x. Interesting. All right, so I need to solve one of them for t. I'm probably going to solve that one. So I'm going to add the 7 to the other side. And then we're going to take that and sub it in. I'm sorry it's small. Hopefully it's bigger on your screen.
Wait, Seth?
Yep, give me a second to write it down. Okay. So in order to eliminate the parameter, I need to choose one of the equations and solve it for t. It's like doing a systems of equations. Okay? So I moved the 7 over. So I got that t equals x plus 7. Then I'm going to take that and substitute it into the second equation, which is what I did here. Okay? So now I have a rectangular equation, and if I'm looking at my answer choices, it looks like it's got to be this first one, doesn't it? But then they also changed the values on x. My guess is they took that -8 and they put it into here. -8 and -7 is -15. 7 and -7 is 0. So that's what they did. They plugged into the x equation. You okay with that one? That one was pretty easy. All right, we have to eliminate the parameter on this one. It says we've got x cosine of t and y equals 9 sine of t, and it's between 0 and 2 pi. Yes and no. Don't we have a function that tells us that? Huh?
9 sine?
Yeah, it's sine. All right.
So you squared,
What?
you squared both sides and then
No, isn't there a... I'm just not remembering off the top of my head. There is... Let's look at our notes real quick at parametric. There's a function that does it for us. For the trig, eliminating the parameter. Okay, so we know that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, right? So couldn't I take and plug in... I want to get those into sine and cosine. All right, so I'm going to move the 9 over. So x over 9 equals cosine of t, and y over 9 equals sine of t. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in. It's going to be, I'm going to switch it in the other order. I'm going to do cosine squared plus sine squared. So x squared over, what's 9 squared? 81 plus y squared over 81 equals 1. And then it looks like I need to move my 81 to the other side by multiplying. So x squared plus y squared equals 81.
That's
Is that this one? Okay, turn off the phone and pay attention so we do well on the next test. Because remember, there's only one more unit test after this. And that's it for the semester. Okay? All right. We'll see.
And in the music video,
If you pay attention. Yes, Eric.
Can you go back? I have one question.
Yeah.
Why is there no T after the... Oh, that's just a plus. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's a plus. I was just writing down the formula. I ignored my variables, right? I was being sloppy. All right. We need to find the parametric equations of the graph given below. Okay. So I have to figure out which set makes this graph. All right. It looks like we've got to go from 0 to 2 on all of it. You think it's C? Oh, look, it is. It looks like it is C. Let's check C out. All right, it says t squared and y equals, x equals t squared.
actually, I think it's,
And y equals t squared. It's just, for some reason it's clicked, isn't it?
I think it's
It's
A.
A.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we
So you
used,
just have to plug it in, right?
yeah,
How'd you get T squared in?
I was looking at this because it was marked, but I don't think that's right. Let's check this out. X, Y. Okay, so I'm going to, let's try this one first, okay? So if I just use t, that means it would be 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2, plugging into that function right there.
You should also test 8 because you have the exact point for 8.
Okay, so we've got 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, it looks like is on there, right? And then Kaylee made a really good suggestion. Since we have that 8 value, we should probably plug that in. So it seems to work for that. Okay, so it seems to look like is the orientation correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the orientation's correct on it. Squared would be maybe the only other one, but if I that would be a really good test. Just put that 8 in and see if it works for any of the others, right? If I put 8 in for the, actually, yeah, if I put 8 in for any of them, it doesn't work, does it? Oh, it could work for maybe that one. No, it doesn't work for that one either. So it's gotta be
It's
A.
the second one.
It says it's the second one. What is it? Are those cubes or squareds?
Those are cubes.
Cubes.
Oh. No, but that's X and Y.
Yeah, that's X and Y. 1 cubed is 1. 2 cubed is.
That's stupid. It's because it says. That's a stupid question.
What does it say?
Because it says the parameter for time is 0 to 2.
Uh huh. And.
Of course, we put 2 in because this is X, not T.
Oh yeah.
That's. Oh, you're right. Because it's from 0 to 2, so it's not the X value is 8.
Oh, okay. I see what Cora is saying. Okay. All right. Let's redo our thinking again one more time. Okay. We were wrong on that one. All right. Look at the second part of this. So that one didn't work out well because we did not get our 8 point. I only can go from 0 to 2. Shh. You guys were listening. Okay. 0. So I'm going to test 0, 1, 2, and I'm looking for this point 8, 8 to pop up. So I'm going to go into the second one, which is t squared, or t cubed and t cubed, right? So 0 cubed is 0, 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8. Same thing here. Do you see how the 8, 8 point popped up? So that 8, 8 point was still important. It just popped up in a different way than we thought it was going to. Okay? So it was B. I plugged in the t values that they gave me, right? I have to plug the t's into both equations. All right, looking at this one, we have to sketch the curve of the parametric equations and write the corresponding rectangular equation by eliminating the parameter. Notice one of my pictures did not pop up, right? So I think these are, when the test generator gives us these questions, I think they're kind of silly because they're all different. I don't have to look at the graph. I could either look at the graph or I could just convert to rectangular. I'm going to go ahead and convert to rectangular and then decide which one it is, okay? So I'm going to choose to solve this first one for t. So x plus 1 equals 5t, and then how do I get t by itself? Divide by 5. So I've got x over 5 plus 1 over 5 is t. And I'm going to go ahead and plug that into here. So y equals 6 times x over 5 plus 1 over 5 plus 1. What should I probably do with this? Oh, actually, don't distribute. Look at this answer right here. Couldn't I factor out a 1/5? So 6/5 x plus 1 plus 1. Isn't it this here then? Yep. And I didn't have to have any knowledge of the graph. Could I have gone ahead and done my t-chart like I did on all the others and got the graph instead? I could have done that, yeah. I could have probably, if the calculator was open, I could have probably put it on the calculator and done that as well, okay? All right, let's look at this one. Again, I'm going to try to eliminate my parameter first. So I'm going to solve this one for t. How do I get t by itself and that x equals t squared? Sorry, square root both sides.
I mean, check
I'll wait.
answers. Because I already did this.
All right, we all good?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm starting by solving for t by taking the square root of each side. Okay, I'm now going to plug that in here. So I've got y equals 2 natural log of the square root of x, but that is none of my choices, right? But I could do some algebra on that. I know that square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2. And I know that this can come out front, can it? So y equals 2 times 1/2 natural log of x. So I just end up with y equals the natural log of x, so it's the first one. All right, we good with 7? I don't want to go too fast. All right, so we finally get to some calculus. There's very little calculus in this section, in this chapter, okay? So there's only a few calculus things we have to remember. One of them is how to get the first derivative. So to get the first derivative of dy dx, remember you have to do dy dt divided by dx dt. So, not implicit necessarily. This is parametric. Okay? So, dy dt means I'm taking the derivative of this. So, what's the derivative of 5 minus 6t? Negative 6. Good. All right, and then the derivative of t squared is 2t. Okay? If I simplify that, I would get negative 3 over t, wouldn't I?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't make it much easier than that. No.
That's a tough one.
That's pretty easy.
Wait, can we just have like that as
Yeah.
I think that would be that.
Just one.
Just
question
one
test.
question. Yeah, somebody would still get it wrong, and then we'd have a big fat F. This one, I know the right answer. I accidentally checked it
If they get this one wrong, they deserve an F.
because the answer's checked.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh shit.
It's not checked on yours. It's because I did the question last night when we were going through it, and I clicked the button, and so I copied and pasted from that. So, all right. So again, we're gonna do the same thing. we have to do dy dt over dx dt. Okay? So, this is, it says e to the negative theta over, is it 11 or 10? 10 probably, right? Okay. 10e to the theta. You guys can pull it up in front of you. It's the same thing you guys have online. Alright. Bye. Alright. This one probably shouldn't be dt, it should be d theta, huh? Okay, so the derivative of this thing here is itself, right? And then we got to do the chain rule. The exponent is really that. So what's the derivative of the exponent? What's the derivative of this, guys? Negative 1/10. Okay.
It's just a number, right?
Theta's just, well, theta's like an x. Okay? Alright. Then, I have to take, let's get that turned off. Okay? Then I need to take the derivative of this one here, which is 10e to the theta. Okay? Alright. So, we would get what? 10e to the theta. Okay, and so let's look at our answer choices. So now we've got e to the negative theta over 10 over 100 e to the theta. But that's not my answer choices. But really, isn't this the same as saying, I talked about common denominators, 10 theta over 10? Look at your answer choices, though. You can pull the thing up in front of you, okay? You can bring this one up, right? So doesn't division turn into subtraction? I know it's annoying, but we can live with it. So we'd have 1 theta minus 10 theta gives me 11 theta over 10 over 100. So it should have been negative somewhere. I lost the negative on that step there. So it should be this choice right here.
Do you know when that picture's for close-up during second lunch?
I have no idea. No, I have no idea. Alright, we good with 9? Alright. Alright, so on this one we have to do the two derivatives and then find the slope and the concavity. Okay. I think on the test it's just the second derivative and the concavity, so you need to make sure we can do all the parts. So even though we can get it off the first answer, we're going to do all the parts, okay, to make sure you understand it. So in order to do dy dx, we need to do dy dt over dx dt. Okay? So what's the derivative of y? 2t plus 6. Good. And then the derivative of x is what?
1.
Thank goodness. 1. Alright. So it definitely is looking like this first choice right now. It eliminates all the... But we're not stopping there. Okay? Because on the test, it asks you for the second derivative and the concavity. So we need to make sure we understand those parts.
Is concavity the second derivative?
Yes. So in order to get to the concavity, we've got to take the second derivative anyways. Right?
I'm confused on how they get their second derivative.
Okay. It's a formula. Okay, so to get the second derivative, you take the derivative of the first derivative. That's what that notation means. And you divide by dx dt for parametric. Okay, so we take the derivative of this, which is what? 2. And then we do dx dt, so the derivative of that, which was 1. So it's just 2.
Wait, where did you do one from? The bottom?
I took the derivative of this one right here.
You take the derivative of y, or?
You take the derivative of the first, whatever you got for dy dx, and you divide it by dx dt.
So
Okay.
2 over 0 though?
No, because you're going back to this here. You're not going to this is the dx dt. You want this and this should match. They're the same thing. Okay.
So you just have to take a derivative of the top?
You take the derivative of this, and then it's the same denominator. Well, actually, you take the derivative of the thing as a whole. Because it could be more than just a 1 in the denominator. Okay? Alright, so now let's talk about slope and concavity. Alright? So at t equals 7 to find the slope, I'm going to plug into that first thing. Okay? So I'm going to plug into that right there. So at t equals 7, my slope is 2 times 7 plus 6. What's 2 times 7?
14.
14 plus 6
20.
is
20.
20. Okay, so it matches what they had. And then the concavity, we want to look at the second derivative.
How'd you get t equals 7?
Yeah, I can repeat that.
It says right here.
Oh.
Oh.
And right here.
Oh, it says in all.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
what did you do to, so you multiply the concavity by the t?
No, I'm not worried about concavity. I multiply. I put 7 into my dy dx to get my slope. Okay. Because it says t equals 7, and it says to find slope in the problem, right?
Where did you put 7 out again?
Oh.
Into the red box.
So the t equals 7 is not the slope. The t equals 7 is a point at which you
Yes. Okay. So for concavity, I'm going to look at this number right here. Shh. Okay. So that number is positive, and it will always be positive, right? So what does that mean about the concavity? Is it concave up or down? Concave up.
Concavity's up.
Up like a cup.
Up like a cup. Down like a frown.
Mm-hmm. All right, are we good with 10? All right. So for the given point in polar coordinates, find the corresponding rectangular coordinates for the point. Okay. So now we need to look at our formulas for polar. Okay.
Except now.
now. I thought you said no. I was like, what do you mean no? No, like,
This is Cody, and you're watching this.
All right. So for the given point in polar coordinates, we know that this is in polar. We need to go to
What?
rectangular.
we're leaving now. Are you guys bringing your stuff?
For the picture?
Yeah. Are you guys bringing your stuff?
We're probably gonna give it one.
No, I want my phone.
Okay. So this is your R, that's your theta. There were two formulas. You need to know these. Okay? There, yes.
I'm bringing my phone.
Okay. So I'm going to plug into those two formulas to get my X and my Y. All right? So, and you have to know those. They're not going to be anywhere for you on the test. Okay? So X equals 2 times the cosine of 3 pi over 2. So 3 pi over 2 is up here on the unit circle. We're out 0, up 1. So what's the cosine of 3 pi over 2? It's 0.
I'll just mark those.
Alright, so it's 2 times 0.
Definitely 0.
0, okay. So that's my x coordinate is 0, which means it can't be this one or this one. Alright, my y coordinate is 2 times sine of 3 pi over 2. What's the sine of 3 pi over 2? 1. So it's got to be this right here. Yes?
If you don't know your unit circle, is that like
You should have known that 2 years ago.
yeah,
Okay, then I would study it. Okay?
Hey Joaquin,
well, the year's about to end, so.
you should study your.
Alright. Yeah.
Should we be -1? So that's
Let's see. Oh, 3 pi over 2. I'm in the wrong spot, aren't I? Thank you, Alec. I'm wrong. It should have been -2. Everybody see the mistake? So it should have been the one at the bottom. So it should be this one here. Okay? So it's C. Alright, we good with 11? Okay. Alright, for the given point in rectangular coordinates, find 2 sets of polar coordinates from 0 to 2 pi. Okay? So this one is in rectangular, so it's in x and y. I need to put it in r and theta. Okay? So I know that I've got 2 formulas for that as well. So the tangent of y over x and r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Okay? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our x and y in there. So tangent of theta equals 7 over 7 square root of 3. Could I reduce that a little bit probably? So it'd be 1 over square root of 3. So here's how I would probably think about that one. Because it looks like we're going to go into some kind of a radian measure, I'm looking for the sine divided by the cosine. So I'm looking for my sine to be 1/2 and my cosine to be square root of 3 over 2. And there's 2 places where that happens. So if I go to my unit circle, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So it's got to be this one right here, right? So what's that coordinate right there? Can anybody tell me what that coordinate is right there?
Oh, that's a
Pi over, look at all the answers. There's only 2 choices. It's got to be pi over 6. Okay. Shh. Then we've got the other one that I've got to find. Okay. What other quadrant is tangent positive in? So which other one is tangent positive in? Quadrant 3. Okay, so I'm also looking for this same coordinate in quadrant 3. So I know that this is -1, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this, what's that measure right there? So if this one is pi over 6, what's this one then? Sorry, 6 pi. This one's 6 pi over 6, so this one has to be, look at your choices. Has to be 7 pi over 6. Alright, so those are my 2 radian measures. Now I have to figure out if it's a 14 or if it's a 7. So I'm going to use this right here. You guys shouldn't be talking through it. I don't feel sorry for the test grades if you guys are talking through it. Okay? Alright, so r squared equals, what's my x value? 7 square root of 3 squared, and then what's the y value? 7 squared. So when I square this, I get 49 times 3. What's 49 times 3?
49 times 3 is
it's 147.
Okay. And then 147 plus 49 is what?
156. No, 196.
196, and then we take the square root, which technically would be plus or minus. So you get plus or minus what?
Was it 13?
Nope. 14. So what we're looking for is 14 and probably pi over 6, because that's the one that's in the positive direction. And then -14 and 7 pi over 6, because 7 pi over 6 would be in the negative direction. So it's looking like, is it this one here, the 4th one? All right, we all okay with 12? All right. We have to convert that to that rectangular equation to polar form.
Is that easy?
Okay. I hope so. Okay. All right, so this is, so look at the options they're giving you. You just have to use the x goes with cosine, right? R cosine theta, and y equals r sine theta. So I am going to put in, it looks like I'm going to put in, oh no, I'm not using the right one, am I? Oh no, we're fine. So let's put that 5 in for the x, right? So I'm going to use this equation. So 5 equals r cosine theta. How do I get r? Because they're solved for r, so how do I get r by itself?
Bring over R. No.
Divide by what?
R.
Cosine. But that's not one of our choices, but cosine is the reciprocal of what?
Sine. 1 over sine.
Nope. 1 over secant. It's posted on the wall.
Oh.
Twice.
That was easy.
Yep.
That was easy. Wait, that was it?
That was it, yeah.
Those ones are easy, man. Dude, I'm gonna pass this test.
I hope we
I
all
might do
pass
good.
this test.
I might do good.
I might actually do
I
good.
might do over 2.
Alright. Number 14. We have to convert that one to polar. Okay. So we've got that. I'm gonna rearrange it just a little bit. We have that 8x minus y equals -7, right? I'm gonna think about how I do this one. Convert the rectangular equation to polar form. All I did was move the 7 over. I haven't done anything yet because I don't remember how to do it, so I gotta think about it for a minute. Let me see if I can find one like it. Convert the rectangular to polar. It's like number 31. Not this book. This one. Okay, here we go. You ready? Oh, that's just asking me. I'm not in the right section. 10:4:31. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is the one where we sub in. Okay. So I didn't necessarily have to move that over. So ignore what I wrote. All right. So we're going to use this x equals r cosine theta and y equals r sine theta. All right, so I'm going to sub in for my sine and my cosine in for the x and the y. So what's going in for the x?
Oh, r cosine theta?
R cosine theta. Okay. And then what's going in for the y?
What? +7. Wait.
I'm not done yet. R sine theta, and then +7 equals 0.
Are you recording this?
Yep.
Sick.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move the 7 to the other side.
Hi, Mom.
What's my greatest common factor?
R.
R. And look at, they're all solved for R, aren't they? So you got 8 cosine theta minus sine theta equals -7. How do I get this to the other side? Divide it. So -7 over 8 cosine theta minus sine theta.
That's it.
That's it.
My name is Cody. Add me on Instagram at Cody_Farrell. Same thing on Twitter. Snapchat, just Cody Farrell. No spaces or periods.
Yes.
Just Cody
Devin.
Farrell.
How do you get the cosine and the sine?
Here it
You
is.
just,
How do I get these?
yeah, how do you get
They're memorized formulas.
the formulas, right?
Yeah. The way you remember them, it's always r times a trig, right? Isn't x, or the x coordinate on the unit circle cosine?
Yes.
And the y coordinate on the unit circle is sine,
Oh,
right? That's how I would remember it.
okay.
Okay? You know it's r times a trig, and then remember it's alphabetical order. Okay? Yeah. None of them have a negative set. Okay. Everybody, Alec had a good point. None of the answers have a negative. That doesn't match any of our answers, right?
Right.
Okay. What can I take out of the denominator? Let's take out a negative, right? And I'm going to switch the order. Negative 8 cosine theta, sine theta. Now what happens with the double negative? That algebra trick is all over the place, right? It's not the first time we've seen something like that. So it's looking like this one right here. Is that better, Alec? Okay. You just got to look for that. But good eyes on that it wasn't an answer. All right, we good with 14?
Hold on.
I didn't see that.
Who said? God damn it, Joaquin. Okay.
Okay. We need to do this one. We need to convert the polar to rectangular form.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Is that easy too?
I hope so. If you've done your homework, haven't you?
Right?
All right. So, yeah. Yep, take the pass. All right, so I would probably, since we have to go to rectangular, I would probably use that formula.
You have a choice?
No? It's the only one that fits, right?
You said probably.
Yes, that's the one I would use. Okay, so what am I going to put in for the r? 6. So x squared plus y squared equals 6 squared, or x squared plus y squared equals 36.
Whoa.
No, that's not the answer.
Yeah, it
Get out.
is.
Hold on.
Get out.
Why wouldn't it be the answer?
Wait.
This is
No.
calculus and calculus not that easy.
No.
Well, this isn't calculus. This is algebra
Oh, see,
still.
that's why.
The calculus was just there's only 2 calculus problems on the whole
Is that
test.
gonna be the test?
Yeah, but that's not a calculus
Wait,
problem.
there's only 2 calculus problems on the whole test?
Well, it was these 2 that were derivatives, right? Maybe 3. Like that one, and that one, and that one. Those maybe 3 or 4. Okay,
Not it.
I got it. All right, one more, right?
Right.
Wait, when we're done with the whole study guide?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this how long the test is?
Remember there's the matching ones. I don't have the matching ones on here. Okay, and then you've got to graph a polar and a parametric by hand. Okay. All right. All right. So we're gonna do this last one here. We got to convert the polar equation to rectangular form. Okay. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Give me a second. Okay. All right.
I've been like dying all day.
Yeah, I'll get you one here in a minute.
Yeah, I think you did.
All right. So we got to go from.
Yeah, you do.
You guys, this is the last one. All right. And I could just not do it, and then you get it wrong on the test, and that's fine. Okay.
I'm sorry,
All right.
Ballard.
So convert the polar equation to rectangular form. All right. So we've got r equals.
So rectangle form, you use x and y.
Yep. So we're gonna use the x squared plus y squared equals r squared, right? So I need to take this thing and put it in. So x squared plus y squared equals 14 sine theta squared. Okay.
Can you just square root to 14? Or?
That is r equals 14 sine theta. I'm looking at. Oh, they did it a little bit differently. Let me go back on that. Let me not do it that way. We do need that formula, okay? Let's try to calculate r squared based on this thing, okay? And then we'll be able to do some replacement, okay? So I'm going to square both of these sides. Actually, no, I'm not going to square it. I'm going to multiply both sides by r. Hang on. I'm going to try to create r squared. So I'm going to take this r equals 14 sine theta, and I'm going to multiply both sides by r. So that gives me r squared equals 14r sine theta. All I did was rearrange. I started by multiplying both sides by r.
You can do that?
Yeah. You can do that. Okay? Now, This piece here, r sine theta is the same as y, isn't it? That's one of our formulas. So I can replace this piece with y. So it's 14y equals r squared. And then I'm going to plug it into here. So x squared plus y squared equals 14y. Is that one of our choices? Not so much. But we could probably get it into... What happened to my... Oh, looks like they completed the square. No, that's what they did on that one. I can't divide by y. I'm trying to get one of those rectangular forms. Maybe I have a typo in the answers. Because if I moved that over, I don't think there's any way that we're going to get... Oh, it's probably this one. Is it that? Is it D? Somebody check for me. Is it D? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to subtract this over to the other side. Okay? And then what they did to get that other part was they completed the square. Okay? So x squared... I'm doing it right now, aren't I?
Yeah, I think you are.
Alright, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to divide by... To complete the square, we divide by 2. And then we square it. What do we get when we square it? 49 to both sides. I'll get it. So then you get that answer right there.
Hey, Katie, what happened to your,
My knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped to catch the ball and I landed on it and it hurt.
Hey, that was a pretty sick save, though.
Thanks.
That's crazy.
You guys win?
What, did you hurt it like that play?
Yeah. It was like the very last time, like it was like I literally like jumped. I literally like jumped up to catch it, and when I landed, I just like I don't know how like I must have just landed like really bad on it, and it just like.
Okay. That's probably all we're going to have time for. So what we did not get to practice...
I didn't go to the doctor.
Okay. Shh, you're listening. What we did not get to practice was graphing a polar and graphing it. We kind of did some parametric at the beginning. So you're going to want to make sure you can graph a polar by hand and graph a parametric by hand without a calculator. Okay? I can stamp without the calculator. No, the first 2 questions are no calculator, no Chromebook. Okay, they are on paper.
Are those questions worth more?
No, they'll probably be worth the same. Why, you want them to be worth more?
No.
Okay, no, they'll be worth the same.
Okay.
Every question is always worth the same amount, right? Okay. Alright, and then the other ones that aren't on here are the matching. Tomorrow I will leave you an activity of some kind that will help you prepare for the test. I expect it to be done in class. Okay? Alright, let me... If you want something stamped really quickly, I can do that.